What up and welcome to Rama Screen YouTube channel, and here's my review of Shelby Oaks. Let's rock this. So I finally got to watch YouTuber turned filmmaker Chris Stuckman's first directorial movie ever, Shelby Oaks, at Beyond Fest at American Cinematheque, and I have a few thoughts. Now, mind you, this movie has technically traveled through several film festival circuits since last year, and it's finally gonna hit theaters for general public later this month. So if you don't like my review of it, you can always go check out other gazillion reviews of Shelby Oaks that are already available online. The choice is yours. So what's my verdict? I like the movie, but here's the thing. For the most part, it looks and feels like the work of somebody who is very familiar with all the usual tropes of the horror genre. Now, why do I say that? Because it's not just found footage. It's also a bit of a creature movie. There's also a narrative structure mixed into it. But at the same time, it's also supernatural and a little bit of psychological thriller, so it's quite the combo. And the placement of the jump scares and the way that the camera moves and some of the characters' decision making, it's as if Chris Stuckman wrote the scenes thinking, okay, I've seen this done before in this or that other horror movie, and I want to apply something similar in mine. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that because, inspirations can come from anywhere, but it also shows that the words original and groundbreaking should be found nowhere near Shelby Oaks. Written and directed by Chris Stuckman, in Shelby Oaks, a woman's desperate search for her long-lost sister falls into obsession upon realizing that the imaginary demon from their childhood may have been real. Starring Sarah Dern, Camille Sullivan, Charlie Talbert, Robin Bartlett, Michael Beach, Emily Bennett, Keith David, Brendan Sexton III, and Derek Mears. I think the biggest credit that this movie deserves is that the whole thing was made through crowdfunding. Now, whether or not you agree with such method, perhaps you think that film should only be made through traditional financing route, but the fact remains, Chris successfully made his movie, while others can only dream about making theirs. Okay, my criticisms of Shelby Oaks. The tone is uneven. The pacing is inconsistent. There will be a long stretch of just Camille's monologues, which in her defense, she delivered them masterfully, but the balancing act between her and the investigation and the supernatural fright are on and off. The transition from one storytelling format to the next is also disjointed at best. Some of the scares make sense, while others not so much. Some of the scares have substance behind them, while others make you say, wait, what does that have to do with the narrative at hand? And the mystery is not very well thought out, and it's not very fully fleshed out either. And because of that, the sisterly emotional impact that the third act wants to convey sadly just doesn't land exactly the way it's supposed to. But back to the positives. Actress Camille Sullivan's performance as Mia Brennan is extremely underrated. The fact that Camille is not a bigger star by now still baffles me. Her range or her versatility is compelling even in a small indie flick like this. I personally think that the use of drones and practical effects and the VFX for the blood and gore are effective. Clearly, Chris Stuckman was overthinking some parts, while on other parts, he just needs more money and more time, which is what every filmmaker without a giant studio backing generally needs. So yeah, overall I give Shelby Oaks the rating of 3 out of 5. Not a bad first outing for Chris Stuckman, but not as strong as it could have been either. But I'm sure he will learn from his experience and can only improve from this point forward. We shall see.